What if I told you that a simple penny, one that you might have tossed into a jar or forgotten in the back of your drawer, could be worth up to $973,000? Yes, you heard that right, $973,000. I know it sounds unbelievable, but the truth is, some rare coins are just waiting to be discovered, and they could change your financial future forever. But here's the catch: most people don't even know they have one of these pennies. They overlook it, dismiss it as just another penny. But if you're listening to this now, you're on the verge of uncovering a hidden treasure. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Stick with me as we unravel the mystery of the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, and I'll show you how this seemingly ordinary coin can be worth a fortune. Let me take you back to 1967. The year was marked by significant events, a year full of change and uncertainty. But amidst the chaos, a simple mistake occurred at the U.S. Mint. It was a mistake that, decades later, would make some people incredibly wealthy. See, in 1967, the U.S. Mint was supposed to mark every penny with a mint mark to indicate where it was produced. But for some reason, a small number of pennies were made without this mint mark. This error was small but significant. These pennies, now known as the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, are rare, extraordinarily rare. But here's where the story gets interesting. Many of these pennies were circulated and lost. They were treated like any other penny, unnoticed, unappreciated. But now, 50+ years later, these pennies have become highly sought after by collectors, dealers, and investors. And the price? Well, that's where things get crazy. Are you wondering how much exactly this penny could fetch? Hold that thought, because before we get into the shocking price tag, let's talk about how you can identify if you have one of these rare coins. Because, trust me, you don't want to miss this part. We've all dug through our change jars, right? And most of us probably thought, yeah, I'm rich. I found a penny. But hold up. This isn't just any penny. I'm talking about a coin that could change your life, if you know how to spot it. So, keep watching and don't even think about turning off this video. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next step. Let's get down to business. How do you spot a 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? Well, it's actually quite simple once you know what to look for. First, look at the obverse side of the penny, the side with Abraham Lincoln's profile. You'll notice the date, 1967. The key feature here is the absence of the mint mark, which should be on the right side of Lincoln's portrait, just beneath the date. If you don't see a mint mark there, then congratulations. You could have a rare penny on your hands. Now, don't just run to a coin dealer yet. Hold on, there's still more to consider. The condition of the penny, for example, plays a huge role in its value. A penny in great condition, well preserved, shiny, with minimal wear, can be worth a lot more than one that's been sitting in your pocket for years. So, check for signs of wear. Look for scratches or discoloration. The less wear, the more valuable your penny could be. You want to preserve it, not toss it into your loose change. But what's the price? That's the million-dollar question. Here's the shocking part. If your 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is in excellent condition, it could be worth anywhere between $10,000 to $973,000. Yes, I said it, $973,000. I know you're thinking, that's impossible. But it's true. The highest known sale for a perfect example of this coin reached nearly $1 million at auction. But before you get too excited, let's talk about the market and how the value fluctuates. Just because you have one doesn't mean it's worth a fortune. But with the right timing, the right buyer, and a little luck, you could be looking at a serious payday. Are you starting to feel the excitement building? Hold that thought, because up next, we're going to dive into exactly how to sell your rare coins for top dollar, and how you can maximize your profit. Now, I know what you're thinking. So, do I just throw it on eBay and hope for the best? Well, it's a little more complicated than that. No magic eBay button to press here, sorry. But don't worry. I'll guide you step by step through the process. So, now that you know you have a rare coin, how do you get the most money for it? Well, the first thing to do is authenticate it. That's right, before you even think about listing it, you need to verify that it's genuine. You can either take it to a professional appraiser or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once it's authenticated, you're ready to sell, but how do you ensure you're getting the most money? Start by considering different selling avenues: auctions, private collectors, and reputable coin dealers. Auctions, especially, can drive the price up if you have the right coin in the right condition. But don't sell it too quickly. Patience can pay off big. And now, the final secret to getting top dollar. What is the one thing that will make all the difference between selling your penny for $10,000, or for a life-changing $973,000? Stick around, because I'll reveal that secret just before we wrap up. Now, I know you're excited, and this is where things get serious. I want you to go through your change jar right now. Yes, right now. If you find a 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, get it checked out and start planning how you're going to turn it into a small fortune, because in just a few minutes, you could change your life forever. And remember, time is money. If you wait too long, someone else could get their hands on your rare coin. So act fast, and let me know what you find. You could be one of the next success stories to tell. Hold on to your seats, because today we're diving into a coin that could make you an instant millionaire. What if I told you that a penny, yes, a single penny, could be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, buckle up, because the 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could be hiding in your pocket or jar of old change, and it's worth up to $972,000. That's right, nearly $1 million for a coin you might have overlooked. But don't jump to conclusions just yet. There's a catch, and you need to know exactly what makes this penny so valuable. Stick around to the end, because I'll reveal how you can get your hands on a fortune. Now, let's take a moment to understand why this penny is so special. First off, the 1968 Lincoln penny was meant to have a mint mark, indicating which U.S. mint produced it. But here's the thing, some of them didn't. This no mint mark error is extremely rare. So rare, in fact, that if you have one, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Imagine going through your change and finding that one missing mint mark. It's almost like finding a needle in a haystack, but this is the needle that could change your life forever. How rare is it, you ask? Well, these pennies weren't intentionally produced without mint marks. This was a mistake by the U.S. Mint, making it even more valuable. Error coins like this don't come around often, and they can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market. But here's the kicker, most people have no idea just how valuable these pennies are. In fact, if you found one of these in your spare change, you could be holding a literal goldmine. And here's where it gets interesting, the market for rare coins is hot right now, so don't wait around. You never know what you might be sitting on. Now, let's break down the value of this coin and what you need to know to recognize if your 1968 penny is the one. Here's the truth, a regular 1968 Lincoln penny isn't worth much, just a penny. But when it's missing that mint mark, it's a game changer. The value of a 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny can range from a few $100s to, get this, up to $972,000. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $1 million, but not every penny is going to be worth that much. To hit the high-end price, your coin has to be in pristine condition. A mint state 68 penny, which is about as perfect as they come, can fetch the highest prices. But even in lower grades, this coin can still be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. You might be asking, how do I know if I have a 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? Let's break it down. First, you need to check for the absence of the mint mark. In 1968, coins made in Philadelphia were supposed to have a mint mark, but these rare pennies slipped through without one. The location on the coin is where the mint mark should be, right under the date. If it's missing, you've got yourself a treasure. But here's where it gets even more exciting. The value of these coins fluctuates with the market. If the coin is in high demand, prices can skyrocket. And I wouldn't be surprised if, in the near future, these pennies continue to rise in value. Have you checked your old change jars lately? That pocket change you have sitting around might just be your ticket to wealth. Now, here's the part where I get serious. The coin market is booming right now, and time is of the essence. If you have a 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, you need to act fast. Rare coins like these don't stay on the market for long, especially when people start catching on to how valuable they really are. Prices are increasing, and the window to cash in on these rare finds is closing. The question is, will you be the one who checks their coin jar, or will someone else find your fortune? The choice is yours. I can't stress enough how important it is to get your coins appraised and sold before the market shifts. Here's a quick tip: if you find that 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, don't just throw it up for sale on eBay right away. Get it graded first. A professional grading service can ensure your coin is valued correctly, and trust me, the higher the grade, the more money you'll make. There's no time to waste. The market for these rare pennies is only getting hotter. So, what will you do with your rare find? If you've already checked your change and discovered you have one of these treasure pennies, that's incredible. But here's something even more important: I've got more information on rare coins that are worth thousands, even millions, and you won't want to miss it. In our next video, I'll show you how to spot other rare pennies worth big bucks, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Until next time, keep checking your change, because you never know when you'll find a coin worth a fortune. Don't let it slip through your fingers. What if I told you that you're holding a coin worth up to $970,000? Yes, you heard me right. Almost $1 million in your hands, and it's just sitting there in your coin jar or change purse. The 1969 mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a small fortune, but most people don't even know about it. And you could be one of the lucky few who finds it and changes your financial future forever. So, what's the secret? And more importantly, how can you cash in? Keep watching, because today, we'll unlock the hidden value of this coin, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot it and possibly sell it for life-changing money. Stick around, you won't want to miss the jaw-dropping details coming up. Raider, the 1969 Lincoln penny isn't just any ordinary penny. Sure, to the untrained eye, it looks like your everyday change. But in reality, it's a rare gem, and if you find the right one, it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But why? What makes this coin so special? Well, it all starts with a mistake. A rare error during the minting process left a small batch of these pennies with an unusual characteristic. A double die error, meaning the image of Lincoln's profile, along with the date, is doubled. This tiny, but crucial flaw has turned the 1969 mint mark Lincoln penny into a prized collector's item. But before you get too excited, not all 1969 pennies are worth a fortune. You see, there's a specific type that commands this astronomical value, and if you don't know how to spot it, you might be throwing away a small fortune by accident. So, how do you tell the difference? Pay close attention to the details on the coin, especially the date and the mint mark. The double die error should be obvious to anyone who knows what to look for. It's that extra, faint doubling of the numbers or letters. If you've got one of these, you might be sitting on a goldmine. But here's the thing: most people don't know how to recognize these pennies. They could be lying around in your pockets, collecting dust, or mixed in with the rest of your loose change. Now, don't panic just yet. I'll show you how to check your coins for this error in just a moment. But first, let's talk about why this penny is so valuable. The 1969 Lincoln penny with the double die error can sell for as much as $970,000, yes, nearly $1 million. That's not a typo. We're talking about life-changing money. But there's something even more urgent you need to know. The value of these pennies fluctuates. If you wait too long, you might miss out on the peak value. So, what's stopping you from checking your coins right now? Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How do you check if you've got one of these ultra-valuable pennies? First, grab a magnifying glass. You need to examine the date and mint mark closely. If you see the clear doubling, congratulations. You've got a rare, valuable coin in your hands. But even if you can't spot the doubling with the naked eye, don't give up. You can always get it professionally graded. And don't just send it anywhere, go to trusted companies like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade your penny, making it more valuable when it hits the market. And when you do decide to sell, the potential buyers are out there. Serious collectors, auction houses, and even investors are willing to pay top dollar for this rare piece of American history. So, what should you do next? It's simple. Start searching through your coin collection, your change jar, or even your pocket change. Check your pennies, and make sure you don't overlook any potential treasures. This isn't just about finding a rare coin, it's about making your future more secure and wealthy, but remember, time is of the essence. The market for rare coins can change quickly. The longer you wait, the more chances you have of missing out. But there's one more thing you need to know. If you find the right 1969 D penny, it could change your life. But before you go rushing to your coin jar, there's one last piece of information that could make all the difference. Stay tuned until the end to find out how you can maximize your penny's worth and even get top dollar offers, sometimes in ways you never thought possible. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this is just a small piece of change? Well, what if I told you that the 1973 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth up to $970,000? That's right, almost $1 million for a penny that you might have overlooked in your pocket. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have the insider knowledge you need to turn that pocket change into an incredible fortune. Let's begin by setting the scene. It's 1973, and the US Mint strikes millions of pennies. The 1973 D Lincoln penny is among them. At first glance, it seems like just another penny in a long line of copper coins, right? After all, the minting process was consistent and predictable. But here's where the story gets interesting. In fact, what you probably don't know is that a small mistake, or perhaps even a rare twist of fate, has made some of these pennies incredibly valuable. It's the small, almost invisible details that can make or break the worth of a coin. Imagine finding one of these hidden treasures in your pocket, at a garage sale, or in the bottom of a dusty old jar. A coin that could transform your financial future. But here's the kicker, only a small percentage of 1973 D pennies are worth anything close to that kind of money. This isn't just about finding any penny, it's about finding the right penny. And that's exactly why you need to keep watching. So, what's so special about the 1973 D penny? Why are some of these coins valued in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, while others are barely worth the cost of a candy bar? Well, the answer lies in error coins. Not all 1973 D pennies are created equal. There's a specific error, a double die obverse, that makes certain 1973 D coins incredibly valuable. This error happens when the coin is stamped twice, which causes a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering and date on the front of the penny. Imagine you're holding a penny in your hand, and you can clearly see the letters and numbers shift slightly, almost like a ghost image. That's the sign of a double die error. Now, this doesn't mean every 1973 D penny with a little smudge is worth a fortune. Far from it. But if you have a 1973 D with clear, distinct doubling on the date or on "In God We Trust," it could be worth up to $970,000. Yes, you heard that right. It's not a typo. There are legitimate sales of these error coins going for jaw-dropping amounts. That kind of money could change your life in an instant. Now, let's pause for a second. What would you do with nearly $1 million? Buy that dream house? Start that business you've always wanted? The possibilities are endless, but it all starts with spotting the right penny. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. I don't have a magnifying glass or a fancy coin set to figure this out. And that's okay. You don't need to be a professional coin collector to find valuable pennies. You just need a little bit of knowledge and a lot of attention to detail. The first step is to inspect the date and lettering carefully. Look for that subtle doubling effect on the year, 1973, and the motto, "In God We Trust." Use a magnifying glass or a loupe if you have one, or even your smartphone's camera can help you get a close-up look. Once you spot a potential error, check for the coin's condition. A penny with doubling but in poor condition won't bring in nearly as much as one that's well preserved. Condition is key. You'll want a coin that's almost flawless to get top dollar. But don't worry, if it's in good condition and shows clear signs of doubling, you could be holding something worth a small fortune. But here's where the urgency comes in: the coin market moves fast, and the longer you wait to sell, the more likely it is that someone else will scoop up your treasure. Timing is everything. And that brings us to the next big question: where do you sell these rare pennies? How do you get top dollar for your coin? Well, hold on to that thought, because in the next segment, I'm going to reveal the best places to sell your 1973 D-era penny and the strategies to make sure you don't get ripped off. But before we dive into that, take a second to hit that subscribe button, because this information is something you don't want to miss. I'll be right back with the details on how to sell your rare coins for maximum profit. 2013 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, could be worth up to $964,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. Stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal could change your life forever. Now, before you scroll past this video, think about this: what if this rare penny is hiding in your pocket, your jar of loose change, or maybe even in your attic collecting dust? And if you find it, could you be sitting on a gold mine? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot it, and why this penny could be worth more than most people's entire life savings. Stay tuned, because the next few minutes could be the most important ones of your life. Alright, let's get into it. The 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most valuable pennies you'll ever come across. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, isn't 2013 just another regular year for pennies? Well, not exactly. In fact, this penny is anything but ordinary. You see, most people don't realize that mint marks are the key to understanding a coin's true value. Every penny made in the US has a mint mark indicating where it was produced, whether that's Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But what happens when you find a penny without a mint mark? This is where things get interesting. And this is where the dollar signs start to appear. Let's take a step back in time to 2013. There was an anomaly at the US Mint. A batch of pennies was accidentally struck without a mint mark. This small, seemingly insignificant error turned out to be a game-changer in the coin world. Why? Because these coins were supposed to have a D or S mint mark to indicate where they were produced, but, instead, they came out blank, and only a few thousand of these coins were ever released into circulation. Now, keep in mind, pennies are not exactly rare by nature. But this particular error? That makes it extremely rare and highly valuable. Imagine buying a cup of coffee for $1 and finding a penny with no mint mark in your change. You probably wouldn't give it a second glance, right? But that one penny could be worth a fortune. Yeah, the universe has a funny way of tossing fortunes into your coffee cup sometimes. If you happen to find one of these 2013 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, the value could be anywhere between hundreds to even thousands of dollars. Yes, thousands. But hold on, we're not stopping there. I've got something even more jaw-dropping to share. Now, here's the real kicker: if you're lucky enough to have a 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition, you could be looking at an unbelievable sum of money. I'm talking $964,000, folks. Almost $1 million for a single penny. Can you imagine? Turning a coin that most people overlook into nearly $1 million. It's not a fantasy, it's real. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if your penny is worth that much? There are several factors, like its condition, whether it has any additional rare features like double strikes, and of course, its overall rarity. But finding a gem like this isn't impossible. Thousands of collectors and investors out there are actively hunting for these rare pennies, and they're willing to pay top dollar for them. But how can you spot one in the wild? What are the exact details you need to look for? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you exactly how to tell if your penny could be worth a small fortune. But before I get into that, let's take a quick look at how much money people are actually making off of these rare coins right now. Some collectors and investors are already reaping the rewards. One lucky individual sold their 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny for $10,000 just last year. And it's not just one coin that's making waves, there have been multiple sales in the 5-figure range. But here's the kicker, if you have one that's in mint condition, your penny could fetch much, much more. So, you might be thinking, what's the catch? Well, there's no catch, but it's not just about finding a penny and calling it a day. To get the best price, you need to know what you're looking for, and how to sell it. And trust me, you want to sell it to the right person or the right buyer. Because, in the world of rare coins, knowledge is everything. That I'm going to reveal exactly how to sell your rare pennies, what to look for when you're out hunting for these hidden treasures, and the critical steps to ensure you get top dollar. But first, let's take a moment to look at how these rare pennies actually made it into circulation. Stay with me, the first step to making money from these rare pennies is identifying them. Here's how: check the date on your penny. It should be a 2013. Look carefully for the absence of a mint mark. If it's not there, you've got yourself a possible treasure. Also, the condition matters. Coins in uncirculated or near mint condition fetch much higher prices. Do you feel like you've just found a hidden treasure map? You're not wrong, this could be your golden ticket, and then, when it comes time to sell, there are a few routes to take. First, don't just sell it to anyone. Use trusted auction sites, professional coin dealers, or reputable collectors who specialize in rare US coins. Don't leave money on the table. You worked hard to find that penny, make sure you get the most out of it. If you want to learn more about how to sell rare pennies and which collectors are paying top dollar right now, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you'll want to know these tips. Remember, folks, it's all about the hunt, and sometimes, the most valuable treasures are the ones you least expect. A simple penny could be your ticket to a life of luxury and wealth. So, get out there, start checking your change, and who knows? Your next big find could be sitting in your pocket right now.